The learners are the people who take on challenges, who thrive in the face of difficulty. Why would anyone become a non-learner? That's what my work is about, and that's what I want to share with you. In our work, we find that many students have a fixed mindset about their intelligence. They think it's a fixed trait. Some people have it, some don't. That's what turns people into non-learners. They sit in school all day worrying about how smart they are. But other students have a growth mindset. They understand that abilities can be developed through effort, persistence, seeking critiques, and good mentoring. They don't think everyone's the same, or anyone can necessarily be Einstein, but they know that even Einstein wasn't the person he became before he put in many, many years of dedicated labor. What's so exciting is that neuroscience is now showing the tremendous plasticity of our brains, the ability for the brain to develop and even reorganize with learning. Cognitive psychologists are isolating the components of intelligence and figuring out how to teach them. So there's more and more evidence on practically a daily basis for the growth mindset. What do these mindsets do? They create a whole new world where everything has a different meaning. And I'd like to take you through those worlds. Whoops. Oh, okay, wait. Before I take you through those worlds, what do mindsets do? We see in our research that when students hold a growth mindset or are taught a growth mindset, they become so much more motivated to learn. And as a byproduct, they show enhanced achievement. And that's a point I really want to underscore, that achievement, we don't want to get rid of it, but we want it to come about as a byproduct of vigorous, meaningful, effective learning. I talked with Yong Zhao before. There doesn't have to be a negative relationship between doing well in math and being an entrepreneur. If people engage in the learning process effectively, we can do both. So how does this happen? How do the mindsets work? They create different worlds where everything has a different meaning. And now I'm going to take you through those worlds. Here we go. Rule number 1 in a fixed mindset is look smart at all times and at all costs. But even more important, never look dumb. And if you have to stop working in order not to look dumb, a student will do that. If you have to shut off your mind so no one will be able to measure your abilities effectively, you'll do that. In a growth mindset, the cardinal rule is learn at all costs. Why waste your time doing the easy things over and over when you could be getting smarter? The second rule is really, really important. It's about effort. The second rule is about effort. In a fixed mindset, effort is a bad thing. The belief is, if you have to work hard, then you're not smart. And if you're smart, you shouldn't have to work hard at all. You don't need effort. This, I believe, is why so many of our very able students crash at some point. They've been going along, everyone's telling them how smart they are, and they begin to equate being smart with not having to work hard. These are the kids who stop working at all when it becomes difficult, or who fizzle out, crash and burn in college when they have to struggle for the first time. But in a growth mindset, effort is good. Effort is practically the meaning of life. It's what ignites your ability, allows you to use it to the fullest, and increases your ability over time. Working hard makes you smarter. And rule number 3 is about resilience. In the face of setbacks, in the fixed mindset, it's about you. It means you're dumb. Effort means you're dumb. Failure means you're dumb. That's what it's all built around. So you give up, you become defensive, you look for people to blame, you look for people who did even worse so you could feel better about yourself. But in a growth mindset, it's about learning. Setbacks don't mean you're not good at something. They mean you haven't mastered something yet. You have more to learn. Students in a growth mindset seek criticism, seek feedback from teachers. They're upset if they don't have red marks on their paper that tell them how it could be better. So a growth mindset promotes not just resilience, but this relishing of feedback that shows them how to learn. So in one study we did of students making the difficult transition to 7th grade, we asked them what they would do after a poor score on the first exam in a new course. And here's what they said. The ones in a fixed mindset said, I'd spend less time on this subject from now on. I would try to cheat on the next test. Think about it. The failure means you're not smart, you're not good at this. They don't like effort or believe in it, so other, more circuitous routes suggest themselves. But in a growth mindset, it was obvious. I'd work harder, I'd study more in this class from now on. How are these mindsets transmitted? Have you ever told your students or children how smart they are? That's what the self-esteem movement told us to do. They told us it would make kids feel good about themselves. But our work shows it does the opposite. In our work, we've worked with kids one at a time. We've worked with kids of all ages. In fact, we have a study coming out now showing that mothers' praise to their babies, 1 to 3 years old, predicts the child's mindset and desire for challenge 5 years later. But in most of our work, what we've done is we see children individually, we give them tasks to work on, and then we praise them. Some kids we praise for their intelligence. Wow, you're really smart at this. Some kids we praise for the process they engaged in, like their effort or their strategies. Wow, you did really well. You must have tried really hard. And others we just might praise the outcome. I won't talk about just praising the outcome. It's not as good as praising the process. It's not as bad as praising intelligence. But look at what happens when we focus on intelligence versus process. What we find is praising intelligence induces a fixed mindset compared to praising effort or strategy that creates a growth mindset. The most astonishing thing is that praising intelligence instantly makes kids into non-learners. After we praise them, we offer them a choice of what they want to work on next. Do they want to work on something hard that they could learn from, or something they know they can succeed at? The majority of kids praised for intelligence want the easy task they're sure to do well at. They don't want to risk their little gifted label. But the great majority of the kids praised for the process, their effort or strategies, want the hard task they can learn from. They don't need the easy tasks to keep shoring up their self-esteem or showing they're smart. They want the hard tasks they can learn from. Later in a study, we then give every child a hard task that they struggle with. And what we find is those praised for their intelligence lose their confidence, stop enjoying the task, and even when we go back to the easier problems, their performance suffers. They've turned off to learning. But those who are praised for the process, their effort or strategy, they maintain their confidence. They see these are hard tasks. Many of them say those hard ones are their favorites, and their performance continues to increase. We now know how to change mindsets. We know how to teach a growth mindset. In one study, the control group got 8 sessions of fantastic study skills. And I'm here to tell you, skills are not enough. You have to give the students, the child, motivation to put those skills into practice. So one group got growth mindset plus study skills. They learned that every time they do something hard, every time they push out of their comfort zone to learn something new, the neurons in their brain form new connections, and over time they get smarter. It's a thrilling message for kids. And what we found was that first, teachers who didn't know which workshop the kids were in singled out 3 times as many kids in the growth mindset workshop to say they showed remarkable turnaround in their motivation to learn. The red line represents the kids in the control group. Many in both groups were showing declining grades to start with. Those in the control group continued to show declining grades, even though they learned these great skills. But those in the growth mindset group showed a sharp rebound in their grades. Recently, we've become concerned with the fact that we can whip kids into a level of achievement that gets them to college, but they don't get through. With 2 of my graduate students, one former graduate student, we developed an intervention for college freshmen that taught them a growth mindset about math. Most of those kids don't get through school, don't graduate from college, because they can't get through the math, the required math. And what we found was that when they learned, hey, this is an acquired set of skills, it's not something you're smart or dumb at, we cut the dropout rate from freshman math in half. More recently, we have an online interactive growth mindset program for adolescents called Brainology. Here you see an example of the brain getting smarter by reading a book. I want to give you a visceral sense of the change a growth mindset can bring about in a student. When a student is experiencing difficulty or high effort, in a fixed mindset they're thinking, I'm dumb, I can't do this. I'm not a math person, I'm not a this person, I'm dumb. That's what they're thinking the whole time. But in a growth mindset, we teach them to think, wow, this is when my neurons are making all those connections and I'm getting smarter. Can you feel that difference? I'd like to end with a proposal. The more research shows that human abilities are capable of growth, the more it becomes a basic human right for children, all children, to exist in classrooms that promote that growth, that truly help them fulfill their potential. Thank you.